KREM 2 News 10 at 10 begins now.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. I'm Cody Proctor. We'll get ready for one more day of warm temperatures because they could be gone very soon. We've got meteorologist Michelle Boss getting us started tonight with a look at your weekend forecast.
Yeah, this weekend's going to be interesting, but the good news is if you do want to do some outdoor stuff, you should be able to salvage the first half of the weekend. So go outside and enjoy it on Saturday, Sunday. It's going to be a different story. But right now, all is quiet across the inland northwest. We've got a few clouds moving in. Temperatures not quite as chilly tonight and early tomorrow morning, as we expect some places just to stay in the 40s. 41 right now in Spokane, 44 in Deer Park, but it has dipped down to freezing in Sandpoint. Milder out to the west, 47 in Grand Coulee, still 50 in Pomeroy. Satellite and radar showing relatively quiet conditions now. Could see a few sprinkles, mainly in Okanagan County, Omak, Wenatchee, that area tonight as a weak wave moves through there. But otherwise, quiet weather tonight and tomorrow for the rest of the inland northwest. Temperatures staying in the low 40s with some clouds, and then partly cloudy for tomorrow. Highs in the 60s, but wind and rain on the way on Sunday. Highs in the upper 50s, and then a big cool down. Temperatures back in the 40s on Monday.
Michelle, thank you so much. Well, some solemn news tonight. We're learning a longtime Spokane pastor and civil rights icon Happy Watkins passed away. Watkins was a longtime pastor at New Hope Baptist Church and became famous for reciting Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech on every MLK Day. That tradition began in the 70s, just 3 years after the assassination of Dr. King. Here's a short clip tonight.
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content and beauty of their character. Down there in Alabama, little black boys, little black girls will be able to hold hands with little white boys and little white girls as sisters and brothers.
Several Spokane leaders took to social media to pay their respects today, including Spokane City Council President Betsy Wilkerson. She wrote, quote, "As pastor of New Hope Baptist Church, he touched many lives and was part of the founding board of the Fig Tree, among many other things. My heartfelt condolences and prayers to his family and to his church on such a tragic loss for our community." Former City Council President Ben Stuckert also took to Facebook saying, quote, "So sad to hear of the passing of Rev Happy Watkins. What a meaningful life and such a good man." Now, back in 2018, Watkins took a step back from preaching at New Hope so his son could take over as senior pastor. KREM 2 sat down with Watkins a few years ago to talk about the mark that he has left on the community of Spokane.
I want to do the best I can, and if I can help somebody along the way, then my living shall not be in vain. So
Watkins touched countless lives for more than 60 years here in the Lilac City. For more on his story and his beginnings, just head to our website at KREM.com.
I formally apologize as President of the United States of America for what we did. I formally apologize.
An impassioned President Joe Biden apologizing on the nation's behalf for decades of abuse and neglect of Native children in federal boarding schools. 18,000 children were taken from their homes and forced to attend the schools until 1969. Nearly 1,000 Native American children died. Many more never came home. The historic apology is a step in the healing process for many here in the Pacific Northwest. KREM 2's Christian Garza sat down with the chairman of the Coeur d'Alene tribe who watched the president's address.
My grandma, my yaya, she went to these boarding schools and she didn't have a very good experience at these boarding schools. And a lot of my relatives did not have a really good experience at these boarding schools. When you're taught to, not speak your language, that's dirty and that's not right. You need to speak only English. You need to cut your hair. And that was the basis of who we were as a people.
Go to our website, KREM.com, for the full story. Now, residential boarding schools were also sanctioned by the Canadian government for more than 150 years. Earlier this year, Pope Francis issued an apology on behalf of the church for the years of trauma and abuse inflicted on Indigenous peoples. Developing tonight, the 15-year-old accused of killing 5 members of his own family went before a judge today. We've been bringing you the very latest on this story out of Falls City since it first broke on Monday. Natalie Swaby with our Seattle sister station brings us the latest tonight.
This afternoon, I saw the 15-year-old acknowledge his relatives who were sitting in the front row. During the hearing, no plea was entered. Instead, prosecutors made the formal request for this case to be heard in adult court instead of here at the Juvenile Justice Center. In court, the defense attorney for the 15-year-old accused of killing 5 members of his family told the judge community members who know the teen have reached out.
And they have attested to his good character. He's been described as kind and caring.
Due to a judge's order, we're not identifying the juvenile suspect. On Monday morning, King County deputies say the victims were found inside their Falls City home. King 5 has recreated the family home based on public records and drone footage. At the bottom of the stairs leading to the daylight basement were the bodies of the father and 2 of the children. Mark Humiston was shot multiple times. The others were shot in the head, 9-year-old Joshua and 7-year-old Catherine. Further down the hallway, they found 13-year-old Benjamin, and in the bathroom connected to the primary bedroom was the mother, Sarah Humiston. The teen suspect's 11-year-old sister says her brother shot her too, with the bullet hitting her in the hand and neck. She held her breath and pretended to play dead until he left, then used a fire window in her room to escape. The first 911 call came from the Falls City home. The 15-year-old, sounding out of breath, said his brother, quote, just shot my whole family and committed suicide too. He told the 911 operator he was making the call about 10 to 15 minutes after the last shots were fired. Investigators say he staged the scene in an attempt to blame his younger brother, but deputies say evidence led to the teen's arrest. In this courtroom, the prosecutor asked the judge to keep him in custody.
He held in secure detention. And that he be ordered to have no contact, direct or indirect, with the surviving victim.
It's a request approved in a case that's just beginning to get underway. The process to consider moving a case from juvenile to adult court typically takes months. The judge will have multiple opportunities to hear from the defense and the prosecution before making a final decision. In Seattle, Natalie Swaby, King 5 News.
Natalie, thank you so much. Let's turn now to a traffic alert tonight. Right now, the Idaho Transportation Department is closing the intersection of State Highway 41 at Mullen Avenue. They're also closing the westbound off-ramp at Exit 7 on I-90. The closure started earlier tonight. Roads should reopen by tomorrow morning. Also tonight, 1 lane of westbound I-90 is also closed until 5 tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, you can watch the Seattle Kraken play right here on KREM 2. They face off against the Carolina Hurricanes. It's a game that you can only watch on KREM. The pregame show starts at 6:30 p.m. The puck drops at 7. And don't forget this hockey season, KREM 2, KSKN 22, and Quest 22.2 are the spots to watch Kraken games for free. And tonight also brings another edition of KREM 2 Football Friday. So be sure to join us tonight for our high school football show. Tonight's game of the week, Gonzaga Prep at Meade. Plus, there are several big games around the Inland Northwest that we are covering tonight. So be sure to join us at KREM 2 News at 11 for the highlights. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time.